You're looking at the 2016 SC AIT fusing machine. This short video is going to give an overview of the operation of the equipment, some of the features and particulars. The 2016 is what we call a tabletop machine, and the 16 in the 20 comes from 16 inches wide. So this same information that we're going to talk about is applicable to the 2024 SC, i.e. it's just a 24-inch version of this same piece of equipment. We call it a tabletop machine. It actually comes with its own table. So this particular unit is sitting on a metal frame at the bottom. That's normally casters. So we have the casters here, and it goes with the unit. We just don't have it installed at this moment. So what you're looking at is the table in the front of the machine. You can see I've got some squares of fusible and fabric that's already been fused there and ran through the machine. Generally speaking, it comes with this input table, and depending on what customers need to do with it, the application, they add additional table and or space for larger parts. It's used for everything from general block fusing to drapery fusing to waistbands, belt loops, kind of you name it. Fundamentally, the way that the equipment works is the fusible lining. See if I can coordinate all this. The fusible and the lining, or excuse me, the fabric and the lining are lined up in front of the equipment and pass through. Now, what I want to show is one of the features of the machine is it's open-sided. So I mentioned drapery. With customers that do draperies in just the tops and or bottoms, and they're able to leave the rest of the drape outside of the machine since it is open-sided. Quick view of the operating panel. Here you've got, this machine has top and bottom heat, and you have one temperature setting for the top and bottom. The top number that you see in red, if it shows up on the video, is the actual temperature, and the bottom is the set point. So I just turned this on a few minutes ago. Probably takes 20 minutes or so to heat up and get going. There's a pressure gauge on there because at the end of this chamber is a set of pressure rollers, and we use an air cylinder to apply more or less pressure, and of course that's adjustable here with this knob. Otherwise you have a start and forward button and the speed dial. Of course, the speed dial on any conveyorized fusing machine dictates your dwell time. So if you wanted a 20-second dwell time as an example, what you would do is get your iPhone out with the stopwatch and start counting now. And then when this part came out of the heat chamber, that would be the dwell time. And most people, in most applications, most customers in other words, you end up seeing taped up here near the machine is a grid, the setting on the dial for the speed dial, and then the number of seconds it represents in the dwell time. So inside the red cover are the heaters, and it has a top and bottom seamless PTFE, or sometimes known as Teflon belts, top and bottom. It has what we call an easy track system. I can't really show you that at this moment, but it's a tapered rollers that ensure that the belt stays in the middle of the rollers. So the good thing about that is there's very little customer requirement for tracking belts and all the kind of things that go along with conveyorized fusing machines. I'm showing you the rear of the machine now. That's probably obvious, but a few points here. It's got a lid that you can lift up, and it's got a see-through plexiglass screen so that you can see in there and the parts that are coming out without having to open the lid. You don't have to have the lid closed, but it retains heat and helps the whole heating process. Coming out here, several items to take note of. This has what we call a scraper blade. Sounds abrasive, but the gist of it is this adjustable spring-loaded blade, top and bottom, right against the belts to ensure that any parts that might try to stick to the PTFE belts indeed do come off. Next, we have a cleaner bar. So this is spring-loaded and comes out, but that bar is wrapped with a nice felt kind of material and sits there and acts like kind of a snowplow and accumulates leftover adhesive, lint, and other thing, and keeps it out of the equipment. These last two rollers, kind of hard to see, but here you can see the orange on the very bottom there. That's the set of pressure rollers. So those two come together and give it a last-minute squeeze. When the fusible comes out, you can run the machine with or without those activated, and simple lever here on the top turns them on or off. When you're heating up in the morning, it would be good to just leave it up or the pressure roller off. It's just easier on the belts. Once you're in operation, then you turn it on so that you got the proper bond strength. Let's see, a couple more quick things. Here's the power connections. So here, this machine's going to be 220 volt single phase. The 16-inch machine pulls about 20 amps. And then we have a small compressed air connection that's used for the pressure rollers. Otherwise, a simple on-off switch to start it up in the morning. E-stop on the side, and that's a wrap for the 2016 and 2024 tabletop fusing machine from AIT.